Welcome back, class. We continue discussing the special considerations in this short video. Previously, we talked about inversions and we talked about the structure of existence, how we deal with those two cases. Today, we are going to continue discussing how we deal with questions. The specific kind of question we are going to discuss right now is yes-no questions, because questions are dealt with in different ways. So this applies to yes-no questions, to any type of yes-no question. That means you don't have to think that this only applies to questions in the present or in the past. No, it applies to any kind of yes-no question. I hope this also helps you to understand a little bit better about question formation, because I can see sometimes that question formation is a little difficult for some students. So check out this first sentence. Did the snowstorm affect most of Texas? Did the snowstorm affect most of Texas? How we deal with this question is quite straightforward. It's not really complicated. You see the auxiliary verb did is marked over there, yes, in red. So what we do is to take the auxiliary verb and we place it next to the principal verb, right before the principal verb. So again, if you want to rewrite the sentence, you can do it if it makes it easier for you in order to do the analysis. So the analysis we carry out in the following way. The snowstorm did affect most of Texas. Now, in case you're wondering, teacher, but why did you write did affect? Why don't you write affected? Yes, well, we don't, because we are not analyzing an affirmative statement. We are analyzing an interrogative sentence, right? We have this interrogative sentence over there, and that's what we are analyzing. So if I wrote affected, then I would be analyzing a statement. That's why I don't change the verb to affected. So I see the simple subject is snowstorm, right? Snowstorm. Complete subject, the snowstorm. The simple predicate, that's the verb, right? With its auxiliary, so did affect. Complete predicate, did affect most of Texas. Remember, what's the complete predicate? Everything that is not the subject, right? The complete predicate is the simple predicate plus its objects, its modifiers, its complements. And check this verb out. Did affect. Can I affect something? Remember that question? Can I affect something? Yes, I can affect something. So the snowstorm did affect what? Most of Texas. So I do have a direct object. Wanna check? Oh, there's an issue here. Here we go. Snowstorm, simple subject, the snowstorm, complete subject, did affect simple predicate, complete predicate did affect most of Texas, and direct object most of Texas. And that's how we deal with yes-no questions. In the next example, have the children and their parents received the vaccine? We do the same. We take the auxiliary verb and we place it right before the principal verb. Right? Again, if you need to rewrite it, rewrite it. The children and their parents have received the vaccine, right? And so we continue to get the elements. I'm going to do it this time for you, but then the other examples I'm going to be leaving for you to carry out and see if you can figure them out, right? And we have a compound subject, which is children, comma, parents. We have a complete subject, the children and their parents. Simple predicate, have received. Complete predicate, have received the vaccine. I can see that this is a transitive verb. The children and their parents have received what? The vaccine. So the vaccine would be the direct object, okay? There you go. That's how we restructure. And would you accompany me to Marshall's? The same thing. You take the auxiliary verb and you put it right next to the principal verb, and then you perform the analysis. So that's what we do with yes-no questions. Now, Before I talk about information and subject questions, I want to talk about WH questions in general. This is an issue that I want to discuss because I can see problems that people face when structuring questions. See, WH questions, what we teachers generally call WH questions, are divided between information questions and subject questions, right? Now, the information question, what it does is to look for information about something that the subject did, okay? The information question looks for some piece of information that the subject did, and subject questions, on the other hand, they look for the subject who did something. We do not know who did something. Check this out. Check these two examples. Who did you kiss? Who kissed you? Okay, who did you kiss? I know who did the action. You did the action. You kissed somebody. In the second example, who kissed you? I don't know who did the action because you didn't do it. Somebody else did it to you. Maybe you enjoy it, maybe you didn't. I don't know. That's up to you. So that's the difference between a subject question and an information question. And more specifically regarding structure, and this applies to subject questions and information questions that use the auxiliary did and do, only with those, is that for a subject question, I repeat, only if we are using simple past or simple present. If we create a subject question, check, where is the auxiliary? Nowhere to be seen. So in a subject question, we do not use the auxiliary do or did. Only in the information question. Here we have the auxiliary did, right? So that's something that I wanted to bring up, because depending on the kind of WH question, we analyze the sentences in different ways. Let's talk about information questions first. How has the dog opened the door? Now, it can get a little bit more complex right here, but check this out. Remember what we did with the auxiliary verb in Yes No questions? We moved the auxiliary next to the principal verb. We are going to do the same. But we cannot start the statement to do the analysis with how, because how is not part of the subject, right? So you need to move it to the predicate position. This is discussing the manner in which something was done. So think about the manner. The dog has opened the door quickly. I put quickly at the end, so I'm going to put how at the end. Again, this is just to make the analysis. So I would say the dog has opened the door how. And then I go to town in this with this sentence, and I start analyzing. I know the dog is the simple subject, the complete subject is the dog, simple predicate has opened, the complete predicate has opened the door how, right? And I have a direct object, right? The dog has opened what? The door. So direct object, the door. That's how we do it. Again, why would you do that? Why would you do that? We are asking for a reason, right? We're asking for a reason this time. Again, I'm going to move the auxiliary right next to the principal verb, and I'm going to move this to a natural position. The reason I would put it at the end, like you would do that because you needed money, for example. So if I place because you needed money at the end of the sentence, I'm going to put why at the end of the sentence as well. So I would say you would do that why. Now it's your turn to do the analysis for this sentence. So go ahead and get the sentence elements. One last example. Whom did ICE capture at the airport? Whom did ICE capture at the airport? Again, I'm gonna move the auxiliary right before the principal verb, and I'm going to look for a position that fits whom. So I think about whom like a person, right? So I would say eyes did capture Manuel at the airport. Eyes did capture Manuel at the airport. Because I'm putting Manuel right next to the verb, right after the verb, I'm going to put whom right after the principal verb as well. So I would say eyes did capture whom at the airport. And as you can see, this is going to be performing a specific role in this sentence, right? Now that's for information questions, briefly of course. Now about subject questions. Subject questions are easier to analyze, but you have to be good at recognizing them, right? Check this out. Who gave you the money to buy this video game? Who gave you the money to buy this video game? This is a subject question because I don't know who did the action. Who gave the money? I don't know. That's what I'm asking, right? This pronoun is taking the place of the subject, but I don't know, right? So how do we do these subject questions? Well, I don't change anything because already the interrogative word is acting as the subject of the question, right? So I'm not gonna move anything. So I'm gonna say that who is the simple subject. The simple predicate is gave, complete predicate. Gave you the money to buy this video game. Yes, complete predicate. Gave you the money to buy this video game. Who gave what, or who gave to, or who gave whom? Did I give you? Like, take this person, I don't want him, I don't want her anymore. I did not do that, right? So I'm talking about giving the money. So who gave what? The money to buy this video game would be, or the money if you want, the money would be the direct object. Who gave the money to whom? To you. Indirect object. There you go. So subject questions are simpler to analyze as long as we recognize them and we don't make a mistake, right? Because it would be easier, it would be easy for me to get confused and use you as the subject. That would be a terrible mistake because my analysis would be wrong. So I have 2 more questions for you to work and do the analysis here. What happened here? It's very easy. Again, a subject question, so you know what the subject is. And who closed the door. And again, it's very easy to see that we are not going to change the order. Again, if you commit a mistake and say the door closed who, that doesn't really make sense, right? Because the door cannot close anything. The door is inanimate, right? And well guys, that's my short video explaining these special considerations, and I will deal with one more special consideration in the next video, and we are going to start doing some guided practice. Peace.